more of you right now. I want more, Father. Is there anybody else that want more? You know, sometimes you go out to eat, and after you're finished eating, they offer you dessert, and you say, no, I'm filled. Only unless you're greedy, you still try to take some extras. But come on now, if you're filled, you're filled. And then you might say, oh yes, I'll take it, but could you pack it to go? Yes. Because you can't eat it right now. It is interesting because everything that we might say we had enough of, there's one person we know we could never get enough of. So I don't care how much you have of God today, I still need some 10 minutes from now and 10 hours from now. So guess what? I want more and more. Is there anybody else in the building or those watching us online today who would say, you want more? I want more of God in 2020. As a matter of fact, I need more. There's a difference between a want and a need. I need, oh, you didn't hear me. As Adam, maybe you want. Oh, but I need more. I need more of God today than I needed him on yesterday. Hallelujah. Amen. God is good. His presence is here. Turn to your neighbor, say his presence is here. Say what you came for, you're going to receive. Tell your neighbor what you came for, you're going to receive. You're not going to leave here the same way you came. Come on, look at your other neighbor. You're not going to leave here the same way you came. Will you stand with me? Stand with me. Stand with me as we go to the gospel according to St. Matthew chapter number 14. We're looking at verses 26 through 33. St. Matthew chapter number 14, verses 26 to 33. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit. Cast the ghost. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid. And he began to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand, caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt? And when they were coming to the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, of a truth, thou art the Son of God. I want you to look at your brother, look at your sister with all the energy you can muster up this morning and say, you don't have to see what I see. I want you to turn to somebody else and look them straight in the eye this morning and say, you don't have to see what I see. You see what I realize? For the last 10 years of our lives, we have been where we are because we are trying to get people to see what we see. And because they don't see what we see, it has caused some of us to take our eyes off of Jesus and to focus in on the storm. But I've come by to tell you, on this 12th day of January 2020, you don't have to see what I see. If you don't see it, too bad. I said, if you don't see it, too bad. Once I see it, that's all that matters. Whoever said it, thank you, Jalika. Jalika said, once I see it this morning, that's all that matters. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. You don't have to see. You don't have to see. You don't have to see what I see. Many of us have spent last 10 years of our lives attempting to get people to see our dreams. We have spent the last 10 years of our lives attempting to get people to see our value. Attempting to get them to go along with your suggestions or your ideas. If truth be told, I don't know about you, but I've missed out on opportunities the last 10 years because there are people who did not see what I saw. And somehow they convinced me that what I saw was really not there. Walls I'm talking to. I can be honest with you today that as a family we are challenged because as pastor and father, the others don't always see what I see. Sometimes it becomes frustrating, if truth be told. Because not only are you operating as a father, but you're operating as a pastor or spiritual leader. And there are times God may show me things that he doesn't show you. Oh, I'm helping somebody. Okay? There are times he might show me something that he did not show you. And rather than me just say, this is what I saw and this is what I'm going to do, at times we are influenced by our children or by our spouses that sometimes we end up second guessing ourselves as to whether or not we saw what we saw or heard what we heard. Am I talking to anybody in the room today? If we are to give a history of the text, we would realize that the disciples had just buried John the Baptist, who was beheaded. Jesus is ministering to thousands. It is in this chapter that we are familiar with the feeding of the 5,000. But when Jesus was finished ministering, something interesting happens. Jesus goes away to get a rest while he sends his disciples into a storm. Jesus goes to sleep knowing that the disciples are getting ready to go into a storm. Why would a God who is loving and caring, a God who looks after us 365 days a year, 7 days a week, deliberately send us into a storm that he knows is coming and he goes to sleep? If I, as your pastor, sent you into a storm and went and checked into Kima Boardwalk, went to sleep, you would say to me, oh, what sort of pastor is that? We're out here experiencing hell while he's getting room service, eating sushi. Come on, am I talking to anybody? Am I helping anybody here? Jesus is sleeping. The disciples are experiencing a storm. A storm that Jesus knows was coming. Why did Jesus allow this storm to come? We have got to understand that on this journey as believers, storms are a part of the package because storms help to grow us up. Storms help us mature. Storm builds up our spiritual muscles. Storm helping somebody. Storm gives us the spiritual tenacity to stand up and say, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Am I talking to anybody here? What I've realized is that we can't expect people to see what we see if they're not on our faith level. It's impossible for anybody in this room, king folks or not, if you are not on the same spiritual level that I am, you will never see what I see. If the person next to you is not on the same spiritual level, they'll never see what you see. If you doubt me, ask a giraffe. Because a goose or a geese can see what the giraffe. The goose or the geese can see what the giraffe sees. The goose or the geese gonna need some help. They're gonna have to fly up and get upon something so that they can see what the giraffe is seeing. But because the giraffe is operating on a different level, all the giraffe has to do is, am I talking to anybody? All the giraffe has to do is, while the goose and the geese are down below trying to see. And Dr. Duplachain, all they can see is the giraffe legs. In this 2020, stop trying to get people who are not on your spiritual level to see what you see. Am I talking to anybody in the house today? I'm going to give you 3 nuggets today. On your way home, stop by McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, pick up your sauce. All I'm giving you is the nuggets. Can I do that? If you're watching us via the stream and you have your sauce, they're good. But all I'm giving you today is just 3 nuggets. Not 6, 9, or 12. All I'm giving you is 3. First nugget I want to give you today. I want you to leave here saying, Lord, help me to see when others don't see. Anybody in the room willing to join me? Lord, help me to see when others don't see. Well, let's bring the text into context. We just shared with you that the disciples had encountered a boisterous storm. Where was Jesus? Sleeping. He had sent them away. He had sent them on, and he stayed behind. They are in a storm, and they see something walking towards them. When I look closely at the text, if there's anybody that should have been able to identify whether it was Jesus or not, one of those persons would have been Peter.
All right.
Why do you say that? Well, Peter was a part of the inner circle. And the closer you are to somebody, you can recognize their voice. You can recognize the way they walk. You can, am I helping? You know their swag. Am I helping somebody? You know their scent. Come on, mothers. Nobody could fool you as to whether or not it's your son or daughter. You birthed them. You saw them grow. Come on, am I helping somebody? So if there's anybody that should have been able to identify whether it was Jesus or not, Peter was the ideal person. But the other disciples said, it's Casper the ghost.
Come on.
It's a terrible thing when we are in storms and we got people around us who can't recognize that Jesus is right there in the boat helping somebody. It's a terrible thing when we got people around us, people that are close to us, who don't recognize that Jesus is in the storm. Am I helping somebody today? The disciples saw him walking on the sea and they were troubled, saying it's a spirit. Listen, we have all been through storms that we have wondered whether Christ whether the Holy Spirit was there or not. Because I realize that God's presence is not always seen.
Come on now.
God's presence is not always heard. And God's presence isn't always felt.
That's it.
You just got to know in your knowing that regardless of what you're going through, that God is in the midst of the storm, and it's not Casper the ghost that you are seeing. You gotta know. I can't feel him. I can't see him. Oh God, but I know he's in the storm. I know he's in the storm. Because he said, I'll never leave you. He said, I'll never forsake you. So you gotta know he's in the storm. You gotta know he's in the storm. So Lord, I want to be able to see when others don't see. Let's go back to Adam and Eve scenario. Instructions were given to Adam, never to Eve. You may eat from everything else here except this particular tree. And Eve, who wasn't around when the instructions were given, said to him, come on now. Come. Remember, the instructions wasn't given to Eve. Wasn't never given to Eve. Never. But the serpent was so subtle that he, come on now. You don't really believe that you're going to die? Come on. Do you really believe that you're going to die? Because why would he place the tree here if he know that the tree would eventually kill you? What kind of God would come? Am I helping somebody? There are many times we have heard the voice of God. He told you what to do. Exactly what to do. But you have allowed somebody else to get up in your face and tell you to do something completely different from what God told you to do. I've come by to tell you today, you have all got to stand with me and agree, Lord, I'm not going to allow. I don't care if nobody sees what I see. I'm holding on to what you have shown me and what you have said. Am I helping somebody today? Lord, 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 Lord. Lord, help me. Help me to see when others can't see. Now, remember, they saw Jesus walking. Peter identified the shadow. Why? He was around him. The other disciple says, Casper the ghost. It's Miss Cleo. It's Frankenstein. It's the Addams family. Come on. They start to identify. But listen. When you know that you know something, nothing wrong to ask for a little confirmation. Now, listen. Jesus shows himself. But not only does he show himself, he speaks, Dr. Duplessis. He says, it is I. Be not afraid. So they see him and they hear him. And still, after seeing and after hearing, they still had question marks as to whether or not it was Jesus or not. You have got to be very careful that you are hanging around people who can recognize the voice of God. Because if you're hanging around people that cannot recognize the voice of God, they will convince convince you that what you heard you really did not hear, or you're not hearing me. They will convince you that what you heard you really did not hear. Am I helping somebody today? Write this second nugget down. Lord, help me to follow when others won't follow. You see, there are times we see, but we're afraid to step out.
My God, my God.
Everybody on the boat is arguing whether or not it is Jesus they're seeing. Oh, it's Jesus. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I said it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. So Peter said, I'm going to put an end to this. Lord, I believe it's you. Everybody else around me don't believe it's you. Lord, I've been in your inner circle enough to recognize your shadow and to recognize your voice. But just to confirm that I am really seeing what I'm seeing, because what you're doing, I believe you can do it.
Yeah.
The reason they believed it was a ghost, because they didn't believe that Jesus was powerful enough to walk and walk. When you're believing God for a miracle, you have got to step out and say, I believe God can do the impossible. So what Peter said, Lord, I need to confirm it's you, not for me really, but for the others. So in order to confirm, God, I want you to allow me to step out and start walking toward you the same way you are walking toward us. And Peter steps out of the boat, and guess what? He begins to walk on the water the same way that Jesus Christ was walking on the water. I pray this morning, and I speak to all 1,000 of you and those that are watching us online, that you would say, Lord, help me to follow when others won't follow, God. I want to follow you. I want to know it's you, God. I don't care who else doesn't follow, but I'm willing to follow you. Come ahead or high water, I'm willing to follow you. So he steps out and he begins walking on the water. Now please understand, when you're going through a storm, anytime you do something that's unusual, the critics are going to start. First thing I could imagine them saying, Peter, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are, Peter? You better sit yourself down. Am I helping somebody? You're going to get yourself hurt or killed. You better sit yourself down. And I could only imagine that all the chattering, it began to affect Peter's psyche. Sometimes you've got to put in your earphones. The spiritual earphones. You got to close out what everybody else is seeing. Because I realize going through storms, you're going to encounter positive and negative people. There are going to be those who are going to give you optimism and have faith to believe it's going to get better. And there are going to be those that are going to say, boy. And when you hear them say, boy. And when you hear them say it's going to get worse, then you know what you need to do, step aside out of that circle. And I know now, you don't need to know nothing else about the storm I'm going through. Because guess what? You are not on the same spiritual level that I am. You don't have you have the ability, but you are not seeing what I am seeing. Oh, I'm speaking to somebody, and you're not hearing what I am hearing. So since we can't agree with what I'm seeing, and we can't agree with what I'm hearing, guess what? I'm stepping out all by myself. somebody in the house today. He said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me to come unto thee. Now remember, he's doing something uncommon. He's not walking on still waters.
Come on now. Come on.
He's walking on a boisterous storm. That's why the disciples could not believe. They're saying to themselves, we are on this boat being tossed, and we see somebody walking, coming toward us. That's not being affected. The same way we are being affected on the, am I helping somebody? On the other side. And Peter decided it must be Jesus. It can't be nobody else that's doing this, that's walking on water, coming toward us, but it must be Jesus. So I'm going to put him to the test. Jesus, if it be you, I want to come to you. Peter steps out. Come on. Look at it.
Yeah.
Peter leaves the storm.
Right.
He leaves the boat where there was faithlessness. Sometimes you got to leave the boat. I'm speaking to somebody. Sometimes you got to leave the boat. He steps out. And he starts walking on boisterous waters to meet Jesus. The sea is roaring, and he's walking calmly to meet Jesus. But something happened. Look at the text. Peter did not begin to sink.
All right, come on now.
Until he took his eyes off Jesus. Whatever storm you're going through today, or whatever storm you're going to go through in 2020, if you take your eyes off Jesus, you're going to start to sink. Oh, you didn't hear me? Walls, I'm talking to you. If you take your eyes off of Jesus, you're going to start to sink. That's the reason why folks are mad with God. They're mad with a God they took their eyes off of. That's why they don't believe in him anymore. That's why they don't show up to church anymore. That's why they don't give anymore. That's why they don't serve anymore. Because they took their eyes off of God in the storm. I've come by to tell you, not only do you need to ask God to help you to see when others don't see, not only do you need to ask God to help you not only to see, but help you not only to see, but help you to follow when others won't follow. But thirdly, you got to say, Lord, I need you to help me to focus when others don't focus, because there's a lot of distraction. Oh, you didn't hear me. I said there's a lot of distraction. We are sometimes distracted by the closest people to us, because sometimes the closest people to us who will believe are God-fearing, who will believe have faith, man, they ain't got more faith than the water bottle sitting down there on the table.
All right.
And if you ain't got no faith, you can't help me.
My God, my God.
I need to be able to see him where nobody else sees.
That's right.
I am determined to follow where nobody else follows.
Amen.
And I'm determined to stay focused when nobody else. Why? Peter took his eyes off of Jesus. And look, when he took his eyes off, he began to sink. Now look at how God is awesome. Why? Because when we go through our storms, sometimes our faith shakes.
Yeah.
All right. Shake it.
Oh, let me be real.
Come on with it, God.
Yours don't shake because you got it all together. that this man of God have been through situations that my faith has.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on now.
But look at God.
Yeah.
The fact that when our faith shakes or our faith wavers, God is always there.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Come a minute, Melissa. You're going through your storm. And you were walking, when you started, you were walking like this. But the deeper you get into the storm,
All right now.
there are times you don't even want to pray. And sooner or later you find yourself all the way down. But we serve a God who is so amazing that when I get down this low, he doesn't leave George. Show me what he does, Melissa. Ah, yes, now. He reaches down and picks George up. He renews George's strength. And then he gives George the ability to start walking. Am I helping somebody? To start walking again. And as you go through the storm, there are going to be times where you're going to go down again. Yes, you're going to hit the ground again. But guess what? God is going to be right there to pick you. Oh, I'm helping somebody. To pick you back up. But it's contingent upon staying focused. I don't know what you're going to go through in 2020. And I don't know what you're going through right now. But I've come by to tell you, you don't have to see what I see. I know that God is real. He never forsakes his own. He will be with me in the good times and the bad times. He will be with me. He said, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil because God is with me. So I don't care. You don't have to see what I see. Lord, help George in 2020 to see when others don't see. Lord, help George in 2020 to follow when others don't follow. Lord, help George in 2020 when others lose their focus. George stays focused on you. Everybody standing all over the sanctuary. Standing all over the sanctuary. You need him today. You need to see him today. Last week, we talked about I can see clearly now. You remember that? This week we have come by to say, now that you can see clearly, I don't need you to ratify what I'm seeing. Am I talking to anybody? You need to look at your neighbor and say, I don't need you to see it. Come on, look at them and say, I don't need you to see it. I don't need to see. All I need, the only person I need to see is Jesus. The only person I need to see is Jesus.
That's it.
You're in this building today. You saw yourself. You saw your situation. Whatever you're going through. Whatever you're going through. We've come by to tell you. The storm you're going through, he's in it with you. He's walking on the water right now toward you. Would you meet us at this altar? If you believe he's walking on the water toward you, just come. Just come where you are. Maybe you need to grab someone else's hand and say, come, I'm going to go with you today. I believe he's walking on the water with you today. I believe he's walking on the water. He's walking on the water to meet you.